All right, we're here with Director of Golf, Jana Koehler. Jana, it's snowing outside, but that's how it goes sometimes. Speaking of the weather, last week at the UMAC Golf Championships, it was quite a feat for the competitors at that. So just take us through those 3 days.
Well, we knew going into it that it was going to be a marathon rather than a sprint. So it's 3 days, and we haven't done a 3-day tournament all season. And we've known from the past that weather does not cooperate with us. So it's just being mentally prepared and also physically prepared, whether it's hand warmers, an extra layer of gloves, socks, the rainproof gear. So just trying to stay warm and get through each round at a time.
And the Cougs opened up on the women, not shooting what they wanted, but the next 2 days kind of came back and lower scores. How exciting was that?
That was. I knew, and I think we did as a team knew going into it. I mean, we finished second at the preview, so we were sitting good. And then that first round just kind of deflated us. So it had to do a lot of mental preparation and talking to them to, reboost our spirits. And again, reminding them it's 3 days and we still had time to come back. And we did. The ladies did a fine job of coming back and shooting some good rounds to get respectable scores in.
Individually, what did you see from the Cougs from the 3-day tournament?
It was nice to see Payton finish up well. She had a couple tournaments that were higher scores than what she wanted, but she did get 3 rounds in the 80s, so that was nice to see during the season. It was also nice to see Shelby, our freshman, end up with an average under 100. So it took her a little bit to get there, but she found it, and that gives her the drive and the passion to want more. And
then on the men's side, what do you see from the guys?
Trent Jerome did a nice job again this year, finishing for the Cougars with an 89.83 average. Nick Peterson, who's familiar on the basketball court and the baseball field, also stepped in for us, and he ended up averaging a 93 for his first year as a collegiate golfer.
And then back to the women, must be exciting to see kind of majority of the team's underclassmen. The future's looking bright for them. How do you think they're going to kind of pan out in the next couple of years, more experience?
I was just talking about that with my family the other night, saying that we are a young team. I mean, basically comprised of sophomores and freshmen. So I think we have a bright future ahead. We have some work to do, so we're going to get going on recruiting now and bringing in the class of 2020, and hopefully we can continue to make a difference.
And it was your second season as the director of golf for both programs. How has that kind of adjustment been for you? You've been with the women's team for quite some time, but now kind of overseeing both programs.
Yeah, it's I enjoy it. It's nice. It's a different challenge working with the men, but also having 2 assistant coaches. So being able to do that supervisory role and tasking them with things that they can do. And it is hard to let them coach a team rather than me, but ultimately I do care about both sports, both genders, and it's nice to see the student athletes succeed.
And then I believe it was last week you were featured in the UMAC Lessons from Leaders. What was that like, kind of talking about with Corey about everything?
It was an interesting opportunity and so excited. I wish we would have had that back when I first started my coaching career. And just I'm happy to share my knowledge and passion not only for the Cougar Athletics office, but also collegiate golf.
All right, we're here with sophomore Payton Sierra from Porcupine, South Dakota. Last week were the UMAC Championships. Cougs finished 3rd as a team, and then individually you finished 10th. Let's just talk about the meet as a whole, kind of a rainy weekend. Take us through day 1 through 3.
So day 1 was kind of weird. Like, we all kind of went in and we was excited but nervous, and I think that might have been where we were blocked off and we just had a struggle with our mental game. So we just had mistakes after mistake and just didn't know how to come back. I know me personally, the score that I shot for day 1 is like out of like the usual, way out of the usual. And then after day 1, we came back and we were like, there's no way that we should be shooting that high into the hundreds. We shot, I think as a team collectively, 420 or something like that. And we did not want to be there. We have not been there all season. So day 2, we came back and we all kind of had fire. We all wanted to just play well. We didn't even really care about any of the other competitors. We just wanted to play. We wanted to be on the course. And it was a nice day. So we came out of that day and it was really nice, and we had good attitudes coming out of day 2. Day 3 was a little rocky with all the rain and how cold it was and all the wind. I swear we had 20-mile-an-hour winds. And then I think we finished pretty well for the conditions on day 3. I know that we definitely can play better, but it's a learning experience for all of us and adjusting to the weather.
You talked about that learning experience. What was it like, for the people on the team that haven't competed at the UMAC championships before and kind of they're going into their first conference meet?
So I talked to them a lot because we kind of were on the tee boxes together for a few of the holes, and the learning experience for them, I think, it was tough because I don't think any of them have really played in those conditions, nor have I. In high school, our tournaments were always in the spring. Even last year, it wasn't like that, and it wasn't that windy. And so it's all about learning to adjust to conditions and just allowing yourself to be consistent with your swing and your play regardless of what the weather's like. And so we talked about that, and they kind of understood that this is all building them up into their later years of collegiate golf.
Your freshman year, I believe you finished 12th, and then this year you finished 10th. What was that like, just kind of seeing your improvement?
It was really good to see my improvement. I really feel like I should have performed better at conference. My parents sat down with me after conference is over, and they talked about, even though I wasn't where I wanted to be this year, it was good to see that I played about 3 or 4 strokes better than the previous year. And so for me, it's nice to be able to visually see the improvements and eventually go back to the drawing board and create some more play.
And then looking forward, a lot of the team is comprised of freshmen and sophomores. How exciting is that, kind of the potential of the team, next year, year after?
Yeah, it's really good. I think that we are creating relationships and bonds that I didn't really get to last year. We had a senior last year, and we got really close with her, and then she graduated. So I think with us, we're going to be able to grow as a team and drop our scores and kind of come together in our goal to eventually, hopefully, either win conference or at least be close to the leaders.
You talked about that, kind of the family atmosphere, but what would you think is the biggest takeaway from the 2019 golf season?
Honestly, the biggest takeaway I think is I don't think I've ever laughed as much as I have with them. They just create a good energy for the team and for tournaments and for practices. And even like when one of us is down, they somehow figure out how to bring that one person up. And it's amazing.
And then what does Coach Koehler bring to the team in the program?
Man, that is our mom. Jana is our mother. I swear, she is something else. She really does take care of us. She thinks of us as her own kids. So it's not just like that she's our coach. She is all around taking care of us, figuring out, like making sure our academics are going well, making sure our mental health is up to par. No pun intended. But she's amazing, and I don't know. It would be so different if we didn't have her as our coach, for sure.